Okay.
Yeah, but regardless.
Yeah, but there we are. So this morning it's going to be about not why you want to be a landscaper, who'd be a landscaper. Well, obviously Ryan wants to be a landscaper because he's enjoying himself now in the undisclosed location. So there you are. This morning we're going to be doing videos on not why to be a landscaper, who would be a landscaper. Like Ryan. Ryan wants to be a landscaper because he already is. Am I the boss?
What?
Am I the boss?
I suppose you are.
Yeah, I am the boss. And the boss makes a nice cup of coffee, and he's there, sat in my chair, and you haven't got your footstool up there.
No, not yet. I'm not relaxing too much.
Well, we're not shooting off too fast this morning. I've had a delivery from Elite Stone Tools, these super thin blades. And if you look at them, we're going to explain later what the difference is between this blade, if you can see that, and this blade. And, of course, what we've got here, look at this. Let me just show you this. I'm going to be explaining later on about this one. Look at that, isn't that a cool blade?
Yeah.
Hey? I could wear that as a medallion.
The medallion man.
Yeah. What sign?
The sign on his back. I couldn't read it.
Oh, it's about the wall is at an end. And all this sort of. There you are. Got my address on there. Put that on.
Yeah, you don't want that on shit.
Oh, sorry, I was just learning about YouTube. There's nothing worse than a silent pause. You can tell how difficult it was. But I'm having my tea. We're in my garage at the moment. This is my garage, and we call it the Undisclosed Location. We're going to be showing this pretty soon on YouTube. But I've had this delivery from Elite Stone Tools. Henry. I showed you all the other little bits. Let's open this up. It's not like the unboxing. I just want to share these things to show you what we're actually doing in the morning. It's almost like my jacket, isn't it?
It's good bubble wrap, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good. As usual, bag of sweeties. There we are. And there we are. Henry sends the blade. This is going to be the boy that's going to get through that tough porcelain. I don't know if any of you guys right there at the moment have come across the porcelain where, what are we finding in it, Ryan? We're finding...
Well, bits of metal, we think, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's not, you know, I think there's rules of how you make porcelain. It's like making a cake. But I think they're chucking an awful lot of rubbish in that porcelain these days, and you're getting through the blade. So if you're thinking about going down doing the porcelain route and you're designing a patio, try and keep it simple. Don't make it complicated like we do. Hang on. No. This is interesting, right? You're going back. We were talking about the blade and how the blade.
Yeah.
I was trying to be clever there, and about how hard the diamond is, isn't it? Right, but you talking about the dragon glass.
Yeah, is it Obsidian or something? Or,
I've seen it on the
yeah, something like that. Because when I was watching it, and these guys had this like Templar chalice, and they were talking about the craftsmanship, how long it was going to take to make, and they were testing the stone against so many different things. So you had like diamond tip tools, you had scalpels and all the rest, but they wouldn't even put a mark on it because it has to be so much harder than the material it's actually going to cut into. And it took like. Was it 7 years or something just to make this?
I've seen it.
chalice?
I've seen the documentary of the dragon glass, like, and but we'll have to look that up and have a just remind us where we were with it.
Yeah, it's just interesting when you think how hard something has to be, how much harder that has to be to cut through. It's crazy, like.
Yeah, so it has to be harder than the product that it's cutting, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like the other stuff wasn't even scratching.
But I think the thing is about the diamonds, the diamond tip blades, right? And diamond is the hardest product, they reckon, this in the world, because it's compressed over thousands of years, right? Is that it's how it's condensed and the density of it, isn't it? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And then there's different, like, because I don't know if natural diamond's much different than industrial diamond.
But what they're doing now, they're producing these like cubic zirconians, right? Which isn't a real diamond now. But the Russians are producing diamonds now that they can't tell the difference between the De Beers diamonds. So De Beers now have to stamp their diamonds to say they're authentic De Beers. Now there's a place in Bristol, right, that they produced diamond products or similar products from carbon.
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this will sound a bit morbid, but there was actually this woman and her daughter passed away, and she got her ashes turned into a diamond ring.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, Alison will love that. Don't tell her that. Hey, no, but
You get yourself a new ring when you go.
yeah, but they are producing. What they do, they extract something out of the carbon that's being produced, and that's how they make the diamonds. Interesting.
Yeah, it's
topic
quite clever,
conversation.
isn't
Yeah. But we can do some work today.
Well, it's not me you need to ask, John. I'm always up for it.
Right, you just had a look. You come up with something called
Obsidian. So it's that dragon glass, and it's like
Right,
black
okay.
glass. So I was just seeing which one's stronger, and I was saying so. Diamond is harder than obsidian, as obsidian is a form of volcanic glass. Obsidian has a hardness of 5 to 5.5 on the material hardness scale, whereas diamonds have a hardness of 10. So it's almost double.
But it's still hard.
Mega hard. It's not like what they're saying. It's hard.
Is
like
that what it's called? Obsidian.
Obsidian, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm thinking it's obsidian.
So this is do you think about it, this whole video is could be dedicated to the hardness of diamond or cutting materials and understanding how these products work. Do you think we should visit a factory?
Well,
in China.
In China? No.
That's where they make a lot of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is.
What about Germany? Could we do Germany?
I'd rather go to Germany.
Yeah.
You know, German engineering. And all that.
Volkswagen technique. That's German, that is.
I know.
All right.
Isn't that the Audi thing, or Audi as you say over here?
Yeah. Audi.
Yeah, we say Audi back home.
Or we say tomatoes. What do you say?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Right, you just read something out about combining the molecules, isn't it? About the carbon, isn't it? And about the angle.
Yeah, so they're saying basically that they can make the carbon harder than diamond. So an industrial sort of
engineering it then.
Yeah, so they changed the molecule and the shape, hexagonal shape, and they said that is even harder than a natural diamond.
And it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you imagine like what use they could put that to? Like,
Well, they do, don't they?
No, like military use. No, you don't know, do you?
No, you don't know. Well, I'm sure there'll be some use for it somewhere.
Yeah. Before we head out, what did the Romans make? Volcanic rock for their aggregate, wasn't it?
Yeah. So basically, they made concrete by mixing volcanic ash with lime and seawater to make the mortar, and then they used volcanic rock for the aggregate.
I wonder why the seawater.
I don't know, but they said that they used a lot of this for footings for underwater structures and things like that. I'm guessing like harbours and all the rest of it.
But you're already googling this at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah,
I'm not getting this first hand.
No,
I'm
not.
Centurion engineer.
I hope not. Yeah.
Hey, it's been a funny. It's been a funny week this week. It's been a funny week this week with the weather. Our current customer, our client, is actually getting married this week. So we've had to really think about how we're approaching the job around our house and what we're doing, because I think things can get a bit stressed for anybody, certainly when weddings are going on and what have you, and it's just a difficult time. Everybody has got a lot to do and they're all getting ready, and the last thing they want is a contractor around. Just try and get this in. You can end it there. Right, that's what I was saying, is that it's about what I was talking about, whether it's not the amount you're doing, it's about whether you're doing it properly. And if you're not doing it properly, it's not even worth doing at all. So we've gone, I remember years ago we could lay meters and meters of paving in a day. Was it right? Yeah, it was in some respect, but it's about the method and the system that you're actually using. On this particular project, we haven't laid a huge amount of paving a day, and I'm not going to tell you the amount of paving we lay in a day, simply because it doesn't matter. what matters, the most important thing is about what was it laid correctly. A couple of the factors that we had to consider when we were laying this paving was access. So a few of the things that determined about the speed what we went at was access, and access is that everything has to go through the gate. We're using those big 1.2s by 600s. They're coming in through the gate, we have to carry them through, and there's nothing worse when you're laying one slab against your previous laid slab, 2 previous laid slabs, and you could end up chipping all of them. So what we want to try and do, when you think of the cost of the slab, the cost of the porcelain, the cost of lifting the other 2 slabs that you've just chipped, it's a mess, it's a nightmare, and it puts you in a bad way. But on this particular job, we've only chipped 1 slab, and that was when we were getting out, or it was already done, I can't remember exactly. But the fact is that we're doing it properly. That's what you have to go back to every time. You've got to think about what you're actually doing. Are you doing it correctly? So we're going in and out the garden. We've had the rain to deal with. We've had site visits. We had to get the digger out. We were waiting for the digger to get out. And of course, we were waiting for the sub base to go off strong enough so we could access it to go in and out. And the good thing about it, a lot of people don't think about, is that what we're actually doing at the moment, we're observing the drainage and making sure that when we're pushing out with the patio from the house, we're condensing everything, we're condensing the amount of water that's dropping into that area. And what we're doing over the next couple of days, and the days that have just passed, is that we're watching and observing the water moving away, so that when we know that we lay the patio over the top, we know the water's getting away and it's not holding. So important. Yeah, this is the little cul-de-sac we're in. Is Ryan now? Hey, Roy. It's a nice top you got on. Landscaping survival with who? Someone called you?
Johnny Boy. Apparently he's the most handsome landscaper out there. Apparently. So he says.
There we go. Listen, this is the drive. We couldn't board sheet it all up because they put the skip on here first, but we're moving here. But come round and have a look. You see the site now. It is clean, believe it or not. So we've got this boarded up, sheeted up, trying to keep it clean. And now today, what we've got to do, we've got to start attempt to put the step into a bit of digging on there to do, and then we have the picture frame as well. So we need to keep it clean, don't we, Ryan? Yeah. How did I get down on my knees? Look, what we got to do now, we've got some boards, we've got a sheet down. We're going to have to pour the sheet over here. We're going to start digging off this now for our step and get some concrete in. So this is going to be our first step. The step's going to go all the way along, and we're possibly going to have 2 steps in this garden. Well, we are going to have 2 steps in this garden, but what, depending on the ground level, would determine the height. And you don't want anything too big. You want an easy transition. You don't want it to look like the Great Wall of China going across there. It needs to be easy and soft, doesn't it? So the idea, what we're going to do today, we're going to pull the sheet over here now, pull the boards over, the Sterling boards, and this Sterling board wasn't cheap. And I know that this, what was this, a price of the sheet? 24
I think it was 24. It is 11 mil.
Yeah, 11 mil. But we've seen it in Wicks, is it 8 mil, wasn't it? That you said was £15, £14.
14, I think. 14
yeah, somewhere around that, so you can
yeah.
get it cheaper. But the fact is, it does protect your paving, and your customer can see that you're taking care of it. So we'll pull the sheet over here, we'll get the Sterling boards over here. We've got to make sure that we don't chip this, of course, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to leave it a little bit exposed so we can see what we're digging, and then we can get some concrete on there. And then on that side, because we're pulling the sheet over, it'll allow us access to start putting the picture frame in here. So slowly but surely, it'll all start going in. And then we've got to go back and do some cutting today. So we've got a fair bit to get on. This is not just like laying a patio, is it? You know, and just, you're laying a patio, just getting on with it. We've got the picture frame to consider. We've got to think about the surface. We've got to try and keep it clean. We don't want much earth and bits and pieces and foreign product going down into between these joints, because what happens is at a later date, when you've grouted it, and notice the cementatious grout, it's still porous. And what will happen is that the wicking effect, where the air draws the moisture through the joint, it could be pulling minerals, and you don't know what's in this muck. You just don't know. So you've got to try and keep it as clean as possible. Some people are going to say why didn't we dig this out sufficiently enough in the first place? But the fact is that we did, and the client wanted an extra slab, so that's the reason we're at this stage here now. So bit of a pain, but it is what it is. So there we are, Ryan's marking. This is the inlay of the picture frame. This is a 1.2 by 50 mil, Ryan. So they're under 1.2, aren't they?
Just
yeah. So we've got the centre of there now, and we're going to get the first one on here now.
That's the one thing I notice about every slab we've had. None of them are like a regular size. They don't.
So the how-to videos. Look, what we've done, this is the end of the patio. We've got sub base coming towards the end here, but what we want is, this is where the picture frame is going to be in, but this isn't just mortar, this is concrete. This is like a lean mix. So we've got this is an inlay, okay, and then we're going to have the buff coloured one, and you'll be able to see that now. But it's so important that on the perimeter, okay, that ties everything in. Though we're going to have a step against it that's going to hold it into position, is that it's just stronger, basically, as an edge and restraint as well. You don't want those edge and restraints coming out. Well, as you can see, you've got the first two inlays in now. We're really excited about this, aren't we, really? So now we're going to revert back to the outer picture frame, and we're going to use the sand colour picture frame here. Well, we'll show you this when it's nice and clean, but you can just about see, if Ryan zooms in, you can see where the mark is there. That's the centre. So now, there we are. That's right, yeah. I have to think then. So there we go. There you are. You can see the effect that has now on there. Yeah, I am using my hands, and maybe I shouldn't do it, but the fact is, I am. The thing I was going to point out to you, probably more importantly, is that when you're cutting small pieces like this, with porcelain, it tends to have a tension on it. So it doesn't matter how wide or how small it is, it will tend to, in this manufacturing process, because the way it's made, it will tend to pull left or it can pull right. And in this case, no matter how well we've cut this, as accurate as possible with the jig that we have on the ruby itself, you can just see that it does run out just a little bit. So what we need to do is that when we put our spacers in, and we look at this after, then we can readdress it and make it look good, as long as it looks good to the eye, by using that 2-in-1 little grinder blade, just cleaning at the edge. But you can see there is no fragmentation along this, but there is a little bit of tension, and it's creating just a 1 mil gap that I'm not quite 100% happy about, but I can sort that out and we can deal with it. These are the things that you deal with when working with porcelain. Though we're measuring and we're checking, double checking, triple checking, whatever you want to call it, right, what we're actually doing as well, we're making sure that we, even with a level, we've got it on the porcelain unit, the tile, the one before, and we're lining up, making sure all the lines are actually running true to form. It's so important. What you've got to remember, I've spoken about this before, that it's just no good just looking down from here, from above, when you're tapping down to get the right level. You have to actually get down and have a look, and already that sand colour picture frame there is higher than the graphite grey one, or the carbon grey, whatever you want to call it. So we just have to get that down. Can we tap the level in this case? But look, yeah, of course we can. Just get that down like that, and you know then it's all going down in one unit. There we are. Perfect. And do the same to the side as well. Can we get that back a bit on there? There we go. Beautiful. You have to pay for these now.